I started thinking about my legacy all the time and what people would say about me at my funeral. And I was like, there's no way if I leave this earth, people are going to be like, she served some good tea.
Necole, I felt you nodding a lot, and you're very transparent, going from, if you guys follow Necole, she spoke about, well, losing both of her parents, the journeying to having her blog, where her aunts, yes?
Yep.
Her aunts actually said, you have to leave because I don't know what's happening that you're doing on the internet. I need you to traditionally look for jobs, which then led Necole to go to Atlanta, I want to say. Yes, and it was a whole amount of couches that you were surfing.
Yeah.
But you really had a tight grip on a vision, even as it was being pieced together. Even if you didn't necessarily see what it was, but you knew the voice of it.
I never planned for what was next. So I was in this situation where I have this huge website. I couldn't really go to my friends and tell them I wasn't happy because they're looking at you like, girl, please. Like,
Right.
You want some of my problems?
Right. But that's because we focus on the surface a lot. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So in 2015, I had moved to Arizona because I started setting myself up for my new life. Like, I just knew I got to escape this. And the first way to escape it is to move. And I moved to Arizona. And I mean, I'm telling you, that day I put that letter up on the website announcing I was going to no longer blog. It was like you go into your job and you tell your boss, I quit. Like, you know, you start throwing stuff around and trash the workplace. That's how I felt.
I'm going to leave a scene behind.
But yeah, I posted a letter on my website, and I knew they was looking for the tea that day, so I know everybody was mad because it was Essence weekend. But I was like, I'm not blogging through another BET Awards, another Essence. Like,
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
And that was like a 4-page letter. Like, I remember.
It was.
that
I wrote a long letter about just it was time for me to. It's time for me to move on.
Yes.
And I mean, I've never felt so liberated in my life and so free. And I had no idea where my next check was coming from. But I knew it wasn't coming from, I just started thinking, like, I lost my parents, you know, they were 41 and 42 years old. I was about to turn 35 when I left my celebrity gossip site. And for me, I started thinking about my legacy all the time and what people would say about me at my funeral. And I was like, there's no way if I leave this earth, people are going to be like, she served some good tea. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wanted my legacy to be more impactful than that. And then I started like really caring about the women that read my site and what they were intaking and the messages.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I really cared about that. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I left my blog and my identity went with it, and I had no idea who I was after that. Not to get off subject, but I was just at a retreat, right? And they asked us, like, what are your accomplishments? What have you done since, you know, the last retreat? And it was there I realized I have a hard time telling people the amazing things I have going on in my career now. You know, now I'm in the practice of writing down how amazing I am every single morning.
Yes.
But if you ever ask me, like, who are you? Or I may bring up fitness or something, but I never bring up my new website and how great it is and how many readers I have and the video series and the events, because I never want to be tied to my career ever again like I was before. And so I'm now trying to recondition myself and still say you can go out into the world and tell them how great you are as, you know, the founder of this amazing platform for women. I have a hard time talking about myself now in that way when it comes to my career because I don't want to be defined by what I do anymore.
Peace out, Necole Bitchy. And then before Will Packer, who was there to really, like, remind you that you can build yourself back up? Because you said you didn't know. It wasn't like, okay, we're closing down Necole Bitchy, and then, boom, XO Necole came 24 hours later.
Yeah, I mean, it did come 24 hours later. I mean, it
came
came 2 months later.
Okay. I'm like, girl.
I sprung up a new website fairly quick out of fear I was going to lose my audience. I really needed to take time to myself and figure out who I was, but I felt like I got to hurry up and act fast. So if it's going to be a new website, then I need to get it up like today while they're still coming to the site hoping that I'm going to come back.
Right.
I'm going to come back, but it's somebody new. So I launched a new site within 2.5 months of closing my old one. Like, didn't take any type of break. I started working on a new site immediately, just out of fear. Again, just holding on again. But I will say a year, so I launched a new site and a lot of money is going out. You know, I got to hire a lot of writers. This is a whole different site than the first one. A lot of money going out, no money coming in. And so I blew through like hundreds of thousands of dollars within like 6 or 7, 8 months. I mean, you know, there's an NFL player, Ariane Foster. He let me borrow money just to keep the site running. But
God bless you, King.
just because, and he had never met me, but we had the same business manager. But all this money was coming out and no money coming in. And then finally I had to start laying off my staff. And behind the scenes, I'm like, okay, like I've made this public, you know, I feel like the world is watching because I put this public note up there wondering what I'm doing next. I launched a new site, but I felt like I was failing because it's not making any money. And it got to a point where I laid everybody off. And there were 2 girls that continued to work for me, and they would like shuffle posts to make it seem like we were updating every day, even though we weren't. So we were rotating the same like 50 posts to the home page.
Right.
And my social girl, I mean, they're working without payment, you know, at this point. And I remember doing a video, and I put it on YouTube, and it's called What I Wish I'd Known Before I Left a Successful Brand. And I put it up, and I had went on a trip. And while I was on this trip, the YouTube video went viral. Like, there's all types of headlines, I think. And I always point out the Essence headline because that one cut me deep. I look over at her.
She was like, it wasn't me.
But the Essence headline cut me deep. And the Essence headline said, Necole Bitchy from boss to broke. And I mean.
They hit you with the alliteration.
I mean,
whew.
And for me, I think that one hurt me the most because I was still so caught up in legacy. And you're putting out to the world that this person used to be a boss, but she failed.
Right.
And I was like, I went from thinking I was controlling my legacy by closing down my website to now they've changed the narrative on me. And now my legacy is that she closed down her website and then she failed. She went broke. She's almost homeless. Like there was so many things attached to that story. She's about to go back and live with her aunt. And I mean, it broke me. It totally broke me. And I had to come back to the States. And I remember I had all these speaking engagements. And I just did not want to show up. I just wanted to be in a fetal position because I'm like, now everyone thinks I'm a I mean, I was trending on Twitter, on Facebook. I mean, they talked about me on the radio in Atlanta. You know, a friend called. It was just everywhere. But I always say to myself, like, when you ask God to use you, you can't choose how he uses you.
Amen.
And, like, he had to show me at my lowest just so that next year people saw me and the website got acquired by Will Packer. But I feel like it was meant for everyone to see me at this moment where I'm questioning everything I ever did. And seeing me with no money and seeing me trying to struggle just so that, like, that moment was even more of a greater win, yes. I think, you know? Right. So, yeah, that was my feeling like hit rock bottom moment. Like, I failed a million times in my life, but I haven't had the world watching, you know?
Yeah. Because that adds a whole nother layer.
Yeah. I mean, I've learned that now most of my anxiety comes from just the pressure that I put on myself to, even after my acquisition, I'm always wondering, am I living up to the expectations? You know, every event has to be perfect. Every video that I put out has to be perfect because now I'm representing him as a company and as a brand as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. But I think, like, Will chose you because he doesn't want perfection. Like, listen to that story you just shared. You know what I mean? Like, the brightest moments of it required, like, the cloudy forecast at times. You understand what I'm saying?
And that video put me back on his radar because he was like, wait a minute. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I never put out the video, I don't think he'd ever would have came around and, you know. So there's, like, silver linings there as well.
Always just got to be patient with finding it. And sometimes it's buried. Gold is buried. Oh, God.